It was the quiet I yearned for, the peace, and perhaps the sense of the past. This was a particularly agreeable cemetery, serene, well-maintained and cared for, with mature trees and shrubs creating a screen from the surrounding suburban streets, emphasizing the separateness of the graveyard. At first I had been drawn to the grave simply by the fresh, bright flowers arranged in neat vases, which contrasted with the faded, bedraggled blooms nearby. But standing there in front of the grave, my attention soon moved on from the flowers. I was mesmerized by the name, Brown. It is natural to notice one's own surname. I stood and gazed at the neat letters, the scrolled stonework marking the boundary of the pitifully small grave and containing shiny gravel of various colours, pink, brown, yellow and green. On the headstone, carved stone hands curved beneath the words, "Safe in the hands of Jesus," as though gently lifting them, or perhaps Lucy herself, upwards, heavenwards. All the while, as my eyes absorbed these details, my heart was beating unevenly and with great excitement. A plan started to take shape in my mind. It was so simple. Lucy Brown would become my child, indeed, my invention, just as years ago Mother had created me as Alison Brown. I could hardly wait to get home and begin to put my ideas onto paper. Chapter 2. Once back in my own house on the other side of Nottingham, I made a cup of tea, sat down at my desk and started to write a list. I loved to make lists, so reassuring. Firstly, the birth certificate. Having that in my possession would make it all seem real. This first item on the list occupied me for quite some time. I worried about the application process, though. Would proof of identity be required? As it turned out, discovering the details of Lucy Brown's parents' names and dates of birth was extraordinarily simple. All I had to do was to write to the General Register Office, giving Lucy's first name, surname and date of birth, and requesting a copy of her birth certificate. An address was required. I provided my own, of course. I sent the modest payment as indicated, and a week or so later the precious document was in my hands. I studied it with a trembling thrill. It was almost as though I held Lucy herself, as if she was reborn. Her mother's name was given as Audrey Brown, and her father's as Russell Brown. That would need some adjustment in time, of course. I would be her mother, Alison Brown, but then people often used a different first name to the original one. This was just the beginning. Much needed to be done, but that did not deter me, not at all. Indeed, anticipating the tasks ahead filled me with great pleasure and excitement. I had already decided to stop working for a time. Mother's death had left me feeling deeply unsettled. It had always been just the two of us. Apart from my brief and unhappy sojourn at university, I could scarcely remember spending a night apart from her. Or rather, the very few occasions when we had been apart stood out in my memory as rarities, exceptional, and a little frightening. Now suddenly I found myself completely alone. During those initial weeks of bereavement, I found it impossible to enjoy anything of ordinary domestic life. For example, mealtimes. I ate almost nothing at all. Sitting alone at the table where, all my life, Mother and I had sat together, sharing the small